right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Welcome in, everybody. We are here on a Tuesday, looking at the Bitcoin price action. Just continuing within our range, guys. Really nothing much has happened, but I am along from the backtest of the value area low. After the pump this morning, on this back test, I got in on that value area low, and I am expecting a push up potentially to break our weekend highs at $72,200. And if you guys watched yesterday's video, I'm looking overall for that larger three-wave corrective move. And we are in the range now of 1 to 4 weeks. We're about 12 days into this thing. So over the next week or so, we could see a move to the upside coming up to these areas of resistance above us, taking out those local range highs here. But welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Crypto Wanderer 1, welcome in. Thank you for hitting the like button. Please hit the like button, guys, if you get any sort of insight into the market from this live stream. Jose, welcome in. Normal Swede, you're in a short. Welcome in, by the way, Normal Swede. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, that's going to be right around that VWAP, anchored VWAP. So I get what you're doing there. You know, the anchored VWAP was acting as support for the past few days. And then like the last day or so, we've kind of flipped it into resistance. Really kind of today, we're potentially flipping it into resistance. So we do want to start to reclaim that anchored VWAP pretty dang quickly here if we want to continue this pump. Lost X, welcome in. Matt Jenkins, welcome in. It didn't pump today. I'm expecting Bitcoin to take to not take the range highs till next Monday. Yeah, I think this pump will take some time. As far as time goes, we want some symmetry between our last impulse from 65K to 71K. We want some symmetry in time here. So if we are going to see that bigger, you know, W, X, and then this is all a Y wave, but within your Y wave, you see that ABC. So this push up from 65K to 71K being that double 1-2 impulse in an A wave, this largely being a WXY complex correction in a B wave, and then in your C wave, you want to see that impulse of price action kick in. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, to at least come take out those highs from this last weekend as well. Guys, both these range highs are both the kind of the high of the range and the lower high of the range are both weekend highs, which means that they're more likely to get taken out. So yes, I do think we could spend a few days pushing up to get to that level. I don't think we're going to go straight up here like today. Caught the breakout at 67K and looking for direction. Yeah, so direction, I am in that local long. And I can show you guys what I did earlier today. So I got into the long, not on the drop. This drop happened kind of overnight for me and very early in the morning. But we had our initial push up here. And on this backtest right here is when I longed, the backtest of the value area low right here. My stop is below that local low, so longed in here on the value area low. Stop is below that local low. And honestly, I'm looking to come take out at least that lower high up there at 71K. So that is a decent risk reward ratio already on that trade, but I will leave a portion of that trade open to come up to that naked daily point of control at 73,450. And so that's the long trade I'm in. Now, guys, if we are going to see a pump in the next few days here, we really want to see some impulsive price action kick in on this push up. So we could say we could get something very similar to what we saw in here, a couple of 1-2s in here before seeing that big push up in a third wave, and then start to see those 4-5s come in. But we want to see some sort of impulsive price action within here. So if this was a 1, a 2, we need this 3 to really start breaking up pretty aggressively here. And I would even say, you know, maybe we're going to come to the, grab this liquidity, this internal high from yesterday, and then see a pullback before actually coming up to take out your 71K highs in an impulse. But it would be better if we're looking at that larger ABC to take out the 72.2K highs. And I'll cover that more in just a second here. So based on the fractals, I'm looking for from 2022, yeah, pump to push up to 73, 74K. So I agree with that. Absolutely. And then a push down to at least 48K Well, that is absolutely possible. And if we are going to repeat kind of a bear market like 2022, then that is probably what is going to happen. I know you have talked about that 57K. You don't think we're going to see much at that 57K area of support, but I am still going to be watching for a major support coming in here around this area, but we'll just have to see how that looks, guys. Once we get down there, if we get down there, once we get down there, as we're coming down, I'm obviously not going to be setting any limit orders down here, hoping the price is going to, you know, after seeing this larger 3-wave corrective move, say we reject here, and then we start that last impulse down, I'm going to be looking for swing longs in this support, but I'm not going to be setting limit orders and hoping that it bounces. I will be waiting for a reaction. And if this is going to be a major low, it's probable that we're going to start to form some sort of range down here for a bit. And then we could look inside of this range. We want to see some bull divs, high time frame bull divs developing on the chart. And that'll give us our opportunity to enter a swing long. So it's most likely, we're going to have time to get in that position if it's going to hold, right? The other thing, like Lost X was saying, we might just continue to really dump through. But we'll get there when we get there. Right now, we're still within the range. I do think this corrective move for the past couple of weeks is still not completely over yet. And I am expecting to come take some local highs out, at least. So that's one of the reasons why I entered long just now, is because I do think we are going to push up and take out some local longs. And part of the reason for that, guys, is this last push up that we saw last week was very important because it does look like impulsive price action. Whether you're going to count this as like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then some sort of flat correction in here, double zigzag flat correction in all of this. But because this push up here was most likely, most probable impulsive price action, we are expecting a higher low before now creating another higher high, at least above the most recent weekend highs. And it would actually be best to even take out those $72,200 highs. So local bias is for upside. Let's see how it plays out. Now, one of the things that I do not like too much, what we saw on today's low, between yesterday's low, which I did take along on that low as well. If you guys remember, that was the golden pocket 618 hit. I took a TP of 25% as soon as we hit that 69K resistance. And the reason why I did that, so let me just zoom in here a bit. On that 69K resistance, just because it was our local golden pocket. If you pull a local golden pocket, and it was at the POC, and anytime you start to lose the POC, it can now be flipped to resistance. So I just wanted to secure, knowing that the trend locally was down. I wanted to secure some profit just here, just in case we were going to see a lower high before creating another lower low. So I took 25% out of the trade at $69,000. I set my stop loss to break even, and I did get stopped out on the rest of that trade. I let you guys know that in the Telegram this morning, but it was still a win. It was just a lot smaller of a win than I thought it could be, but that's why I've also looked to re-enter now to get that bigger win. So we'll see how this trade plays out here. We need to get above this anchored VWAP relatively quickly, and we do want to see some volume kicking in pretty quick here. But going back to one thing that I am concerned about, and I don't like about today's lows so far, is we don't really have any bull divs on the chart. You know, when we were coming down to yesterday's low, between the two lows, you had some really nice bull divs on the chart, developing. And so that hitting into a golden pocket near the value area low, it gave me at least somewhat of a confirmation to enter the long trade. But as we were coming down today, making new lows today, we don't really see bull divs between yesterday's low and today's low. We don't really have those bull divs on the chart. Now, we did print a hidden bull div on the 2-hour time frame, I believe. Let me go to the 2-hour. And this is where Nami can come in really clutch. We printed that hidden bull div, and a hidden bull div is a continuation pattern. So a continuation of the bullish breakout here that we could be seeing. Also, we actually came down and hit the value area low. And primarily why I took the long today is because we hit that value area low. We finally came down and hit that value area low, kind of grabbed the liquidity from yesterday. And if you guys remember, on that liquidation heat map yesterday, the liquidity was just below yesterday's lows, those Monday lows. Now, of course, let's go to the 24-hour chart. Now, with a lot of people that just longed earlier today in the lows, we do have local liquidity below those lows, including my stop loss, by the way. My stop loss is below these local lows here. So it does look like a lot of longs did step in. If we go to our order flow and we just look at what happened, let me just zoom out a bit here to the 15-minute chart. We did have some longs stepping in. You could see as, first off, we got the longs were stepping in, and you can see the CVD was increasing in this area. So longs were stepping in. They were fresh longs. For a majority of them were fresh long positions that were stepping in. But then we got those longs that got squeezed out with the quick dump that we saw this morning. So quick dump, obviously longs getting stopped out as a sell. That's why your CVD started going down. But we know those were longs getting stopped out because your open interest is dropping here. So it wasn't a bunch of fresh shorts that were making us push to new lows. It was longs getting stopped out. And that in some ways is better if you do want to see local support hold for a nice move to the upside. And it's better than seeing a healthy move with a bunch of new short positions stepping in. So longs got stopped out, and then you could see on that retrace, right where I entered, right in here, on that retrace and backtest of the value area low, that is when we did see a lot of fresh longs kind of stepped in here. A lot of fresh longs were stepping in and buying that higher low. And now we are breaking even local market structure on the 15-minute. We are making a higher high. So let me go on to the 15-minute here. And you can see by breaking that high from earlier today, we're breaking it right now. It is now a change in market structure locally. So we can watch for a couple couple 1-2s here. If we do get this rejection and come down to our local golden pocket and hold that, we could see a couple 1-2s coming in here before seeing that big push up in the third wave, or we could continue to push right now in a third wave. But if this is going to continue higher, I want to see some volume coming in soon on this push to the upside. And we did get fresh longs stepping in on this push to the upside. So what we really need to see is we need to see volume. We need to see the push start to accelerate here. All right, let's see. Average buy orders were placed there, which would break. Yeah, at 72, 73K. Yeah, Matt, you make a good point there. So obviously on the higher time frames, on the daily time frame, we know that 72K area was our macro golden pocket between like 70K and 68K. So a lot of people were buying spot at that macro golden pocket, including myself, by the way. I did buy some spot at 70K, at 68K. But there is a lot of orders there. And if we look at that logarithmic Fibonacci, 70K to 68K, that is where a lot of those buy orders came in. So it does make sense that if we do push up to, those local range highs, that local liquidity, we could see a bit of a sell-off of those people saying, okay, wait, I bought there, but I don't think this is going to continue up. I think it's going to keep dumping, so I'm just going to get out at break even. All right, now the other thing I do want to talk about while we're here on the higher time frame with this pitchfork, you can see the lower band has really flipped to resistance now. On the daily time frame, yes, we did bounce from the bottom of the pitchfork, and you can see our daily candle closed at the bottom of the pitchfork, and it is holding, but we're forming that range in between the bottom of the pitchfork and the lower band, but we are not able to break back inside the lower band yet. You can see on the daily time frame, no candle closes. There's 4 wicks there, and there's 1 or 2 wicks here where we are trying to break back inside, at least flip the lower part of the band to come up to the upper part of the band where we have that naked daily point of control. But so far, we have not been able to break back above the band. So this has now been flipped to resistance. And right now it's acting as a pretty tough resistance for us, where if we don't see some price action coming in soon here to break up here, we could drop and start to take out some of our local lows to change market structure locally bearishly again on like the 4-hour time frame and above. All right. Understood. And I'll look. Yes. Okay. Our Pink, welcome in, man. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for modding for me. Appreciate you as always. Crypto OG, welcome in. Crypto OG Havoca, welcome in. Yes, got the stream started. Glasshopper, welcome in. Not quicker. What is up, man? thank you for being here. And Yeshwant, much love to you. Dad87, much love to you as always. And thank you for the kind comment, man. I appreciate it. I agree with your comment here. Actually, really, really important comment that Dad87 makes here, guys. In this choppy, kind of rangy type price action that we've been seeing over the past couple of weeks, it's important to start your trades out with the scalp mentality, because we don't know whether this is going to continue up or if we're going to start some sort of triangle in here and break down. There's a couple different probabilities. So you want to be having kind of a scalping mindset, but take profits at local resistances. Take at least a partial TP at a local resistance or a local support if you're short. And be happy. Don't get too greedy. Don't think every single trade is going to be the one that pushes, or, you know, the short, this one's going to be the short that dumps you all the way down. You want to be taking some local partial take profits on those support and resistances. Something interesting you may want to look at is the rejection from 4 hour 200 EMA. Exactly what rejected us in the fractal in 2022. All right, let's see here. EMAs, and let me come in here. The 200 is our second one. Wait, what? Okay, so I made this one 200. I think this is I set this to 200. Okay, so on the 4 hour time frame. No, that doesn't look like 200. All right, let me do this. $200. Was just super secret 200 EMA. Okay, we'll do the super secret 200 EMA. That is coming in at almost 77K. Let's go back to, I guess this would be kind of far to drag back to our last bear market here. But yeah, okay, I can see, you know, like came up to the 200 or the, 4 hour 200 EMA, rejected there, and then you saw that giant dump to the downside. So yeah, maybe it is going to be similar to last cycle. But we'll just, you know, we'll have to see. That is at least a little bit higher on the Coinbase chart. It's coming in around 77K. So that's very interesting. Let's get us dragging over again. All right. Now, the thing is, guys, we're still playing within the smaller range, and the highest probability, at least for me still on the chart, is to make new lows at least below 60K. And then once we do that, we could see the probability of our bigger impulse to the downside being done with. And let's just do some refreshing on that larger time frame scenario. So, of course, our dump from our all-time high down on October 10th was our wave 1 to the downside. Very impulsive price action to the downside. We had that kind of flat correction in a wave 2. We saw our big wave 3 come in, dumping us to 80.5K. We saw our larger wave 4 being that WXY complex correction that lasted about 2.5, 3 months. And then we're in our 5th and final wave to the downside. So that 5th and final wave to the downside is what really we've been focusing on this channel for the is the biggest probability. But within that 5th wave, we still don't have our full 5 waves in. So we have a 1 here, running flat, and a 2. All of this was a 3, and we're in our 4 right now before seeing one last 5th wave come in. And so a lot of confluence, guys, by the way, around that 57K mark. Around $57,000. We have a naked monthly point of control, naked weekly point of control. We have multiple pitchforks that are all aligning, multiple high time frame pitchforks, like super high time frame. And this one, this pitchfork is super important as well, because look at, for 2025, look at the major swing pivots in the market for this pitchfork. You know, all-time high early at the beginning of the year, rejected us. Dropped for 4 months to the upper band, the bottom of the upper band, bounce, strong bounce. We come up again, see that distribution range at the top of the pitchfork, reject it, come all the way back down to that band again. Saw a nice, you know, $10,000+ bounce to the upside, almost $20,000 bounce to the upside from the bottom of that band again. But for the first time in the entire year of 2025, what was acting as a macro support for us is now broken to the downside. And we broke it with quite an extensive amount of volume to the downside. So because we broke that with extensive volume to the downside, we have to look for maybe coming down to our next major pitchfork level. And that next major pitchfork level is going to be the pitchfork midline, which is going to be coming in depending on, you know, how long we range and how quick we impulse down. Like if we're going to stay in this for another week or so, and then we start to impulse down, it's going to be right around that $57,000 mark. And that $57,000 area also happens to have that naked monthly point of control. There's just a lot there, guys, at $57,000. So the anchored VWAP from the bear market lows is there. And that's going to be a super, super important anchored VWAP, because if we really are going to go into a bear market, then it is highly likely that we are going to lose our anchored VWAP from the bull market lows, right? This was the start of the bull market. So that's your trend. That's your average trend based off of volume rather than just price. It's based off of the volume as well. And so as we come down to that area, it's going to be super important to hold that as support. If we can, we might see a huge rally to the upside. But if we start to lose that anchored VWAP, just like we saw up at the 70, the anchored VWAPs in the past that we were looking at, it's going to be really, really bad for us. One of the anchored VWAPs that we saw was that 74K anchored VWAP here. And let me just zoom into the daily time frame. And so this is our larger, I'm going to say, let's just say it this way. This is our larger kind of anchored trend on the weekly time frame, right? So if we come down there, that's kind of be like your weekly volume support, your trend volume support. But on the lower time frames within 2025's range, the bottom of that range was that $74,400 low. And so as we were rising up for the last few months, making new all-time highs, you can see that $74,400 low was our important trend support. So yeah, as soon as you can see, we tried to hold it. And let me just hide this pitchfork for a second. We tried to hold it, bounce on October 10th, bounce. But then once you lost it with some volume and started closing high time frame candles below it, that's when you back tested it and you saw the big waterfall come in. So we don't want to see that now on an even higher time frame. Say we do drop here, you know, close a few like at least one weekly candle, but maybe a couple weekly candles underneath that anchored VWAP. And then if we decide to come up and test it and reject from that area, you can expect that big aggressive dump to the downside. And pretty much that would be like the final and last confirmation for bear market, in my opinion. Already, I think that's highly probable we're going into a bear market just based off the high time frame technical bearish divergences. But we'll have to see, because there is still the bullish scenario. And as traders, we keep both scenarios on the charts and in our minds. And the bullish scenario is this flat ABC in here, where the C wave is going to end around that 58K. And we could push up to new all-time highs in that. If it is going to be a kind of our bullish super cycle, after the flat finishes, you expect a motive wave ultimately to come take out your all-time highs. Now it's not going to go straight up like this, right? But we would expect, if this is going to be a flat, to at least start the push up with a strong motive wave to the upside. So strong impulse to the upside. Yeah, thank you, Matt Jenkins. I appreciate that, man. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad you guys get something out of the stream. So thank you so much. CJ's welcome in. Do you see 90K first or 57K first? I think 57 is going to come before 90. So let's talk about that for a second. We're looking at the dump, primarily what we're looking at here. And let me just get to my Coinbase chart. We're looking at our rejection from 98K. That was the end of our this was a fourth wave correction on the daily time frame, right? It lasted about 2.5 months. And so now we've been dumping with very strong impulsive price action to the downside from 98K all the way to 60K. That was a very strong dump to the downside. But within this fifth wave, you're still looking for a full impulse, and we just don't have that yet. You can see our count here. We have our wave 1 going to 87,500. Our wave 2 bring us up to 91K. Our wave 3 dropped us all the way down to $60,000. And right now we're in a wave 4. Now, a couple things here, guys. This wave 4, it is common in wave 4s to form these triangles, to form triangles. I would pull it. I wouldn't even pull it from that major wick. I would pull it more like this, like a triangle like this, where we could even just chop in here for another week and then ultimately dump without taking out either of our 2 weekend highs. This to me is less probable than seeing the zigzag up where we do take out 72.2. I think that's my primary scenario. But either way, we're looking for a wave 4 before seeing a final dump to new lows in a wave 5. So coming up to 90K would actually invalidate this impulse from 98K, because what we want to look at now, our primary invalidation to complete this impulse from 98K to new lows, wherever those new lows are going to be, is you want to pull a Fibonacci retracement from the highs of your wave 3 to the lows of your wave 3. And that golden pocket at $77,000 to $78,000. If we come up and hit that golden pocket, then it would invalidate this entire move down, at least as an impulsive move to the downside. We would then have to say, okay, maybe our larger scenario is not going to be all the way from the all-time high. Maybe our larger scenario is not going to be that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it could rather be that bigger WXY where the low is in. Because if we push all the way up here, then that might be the start of your motive wave. You get a retracement bit, and then you start to really push up here and test some key higher resistances. So that $77,300 area is going to be if we even get up there and hit the 618, even at the littlest bit, hit the 618, it will invalidate this as a fourth wave, because your fourth wave cannot come up and hit that 618. So we'll have to see, but I do think taking out the lows is more probable than coming up to 90K, because the bearish scenario I think is going to continue. I think it's more likely, it's more probable. Let me say that. You caught it on the retest too, Matt. Awesome. Mindtab Street, welcome in, man. Thank you so much for being here. Saw your TA last night. Yeah, Dash, guys. By the way, we talked about Dash on Friday, and I set an alert on Dash. Let me see, USD. And I set an alert at that level on Dash, and it hit so perfectly. And I did end up taking the short right into that naked daily point of control. So let me get rid of some of this. I was just looking at some local stuff here on Dash. But remember, we were looking for that potential 3-wave corrective move. And in that 3-wave corrective move, you have a local golden pocket, not your invalidation golden pocket, but a local golden pocket pulled from, your last kind of range highs to those lows. It was our 1-to-1 Fibonacci extinction, and it was a naked daily point of control, all resting kind of within this area. And so as we came up to that area, I saw that we had some nice bear divs on the chart. You can see higher highs in the price action, very nice lower highs in the momentum waves, very nice bear divs on NAMI as well. And NAMI also confirmed the money flow bear divs. So I did take the short on the rejection of the naked daily point of control. Now, I pretty much closed that, like that trade. I think there's 10% of that trade left running, but I closed a lot of it out once we started ranging in this area. I was just wasn't certain, and I didn't want to babysit the Dash trade there, so I did close a lot of that out for a decent win. It was really nice. But we could be seeing now, if this is our larger 3-wave corrective move that's done, we could be seeing major dumpage. The one thing, and this is one of the reasons why I closed it out, because if we look at from the highs, this looks like a 3-wave corrective move. And we wanted to see a 4 and then a 5. And if we would have started pushing down here with an impulse, I would have left so much of that trade running. Actually, all of it would be running still. But because this first push down looks like a 3-wave move, and yes, we could still say that this is a flat and a 4, but it's getting really long in time. So if you're going to say 1, 2, 3, all of this is 4 here. I mean, I just don't like it. So because that 3-wave, we kind of dropped here with the 3-wave corrective move, we might come up and make a double top or even come up a little bit higher here. But the thing is, if this is going to be done. This 3-wave corrective move is going to be done on higher time frames. We do want to see some really nice impulsive price action to the downside. We're just going to have to diagnose this upper range for now until it breaks. And you can see we have that upper range in here. But let's get back to Bitcoin real quick. Let's see here. How's Bitcoin doing? Are we rejecting from that? Yeah, man, that anchored VWAP is really giving us some trouble, guys. I do like how on the 12-minute chart, look at our money flow is curving nicely into the green, and we do have trigger waves. Well, first of all, we have some bull divs on the 12-minute. Very nice intraday bull divs here. So lower lows on the price action, higher lows on the momentum waves. You can see Nami also printed those bull divs. Nami had 3 drives of bull div on the money flow here, and we did print a hidden bull div on that back test of the value area low. So right here, where I got into the trade, we printed that hidden bull div. Unfortunately, right now we are printing with that very slight higher high. We are printing some bear divs now on the 12-minute. But overall, I would say the multiple drives of bull div that we're seeing in here, 1, 2, 3, and then we got our bullish trigger wave on that higher low. That's where I entered. It does look like we could continue up here. But if we're going to reject right now, this could be a little 3-wave corrective move, and then we're going to continue. But I would expect that this now is going to form some 1-2s in here. 1, 2, 1, 2. So let's look towards that lower golden pocket. Let's actually come in here on the 12-minute, and I'm just going to get rid of these. And we could actually pull a channel here. So, oops, didn't mean to do that. Let me get rid of that one. We're going to pull this channel, and we can also pull our golden pocket from that higher low to the new highs that we just made. And I would want to put on our 786 as well. So yeah, that 786 at 67,126, because we might continue kind of chop. Oftentimes these 1-2s that form, they form kind of in a channel pattern. And then you get that kind of breakout in a wave 3 that really starts pushing to the upside, breaking the channel up. So let's see if we can't get something like that. Or if we're going to hold the midline in the daily VWAP, the session VWAP as we call it, right now, and continue to break up. That's we need to see some good volume kicking in soon for the bulls. We need to see a strong push to the upside with volume. One thing that I will say is look at how low the volume is, and our highest amount of volume was on the dump on the lows today. Now, that also could be a good thing. When you are seeing corrective moves finish, they often finish on a high amount in volume. So yeah, I would like to see, we finished today on a high amount in volume here. We've been decreasing so far in those 1-2s that we could be seeing some 1-2s. But if we start to see a third wave kick in, we want to see that big spike in volume as well. We want to see some volume coming in to spike us up here. So we'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully something happens during the stream. Maybe not. Tomorrow is Wednesday. A lot of the price action, the volatile price action does happen to be on Wednesdays. So it would be interesting tomorrow if we get a nice breakout to the upside. Awesome, though, Mind Tapestry, that those dash trades worked out for you. Tony CC, welcome in, man. Thank you so much for being here. All is well for me, guys. Yes. And thank you for being part of the stream, even though you're working and delivering some stuff. So thank you for that, man. Shez, welcome in. Those that got in at 75K ain't looking at 70K as amazing. Well, yes, I think if you're talking about spot buys, for sure, it's not amazing. We will see a larger correction to the upside eventually. I know that 2022 was completely, like, as far as on the weekly time frame, this was a pretty aggressive dump to the downside, but there was still 40% moves to the upside within it. 40% moves to the upside. I believe those were close to 40%. Let's see here. This was, yeah, a 46% move to the upside. And then, we saw, so you'll have a chance if you did buy to get in 42% move to the upside. So you'll have a chance potentially to get, if you bought at 75, to get out of that if you think that this is going to be a prolonged bear market. Ooh, speaking of the weekly time frame, so NAMI is showing the bull divs, slight bull divs. You can see now that NAMI's weekly money flow or momentum is starting to roll over, and we got this green dot here. In some ways, it has confirmed the bull divs on NAMI. And remember, NAMI is quicker than Market Cipher B. Now, even if Market Cipher B rolled over in the next couple of weeks, there wouldn't be bull divs, though. It's the momentum has already gone too low there. And I don't like how this money flow has crossed over into the red, because remember, on the weekly time frame, the last time the money flow crossed into the red was like at the end of that 3-month corrective range, just like this guy right in here. And then we saw aggressive dumpage. So is this aggressive dumpage going to continue just like it did when we crossed over into the weekly red last time? I mean, the market does rhyme, guys. And what we could be seeing, you can see after, let's go here. After this push up, we got that initial big dump. And then we saw about 3, 4, 5 weeks of sideways price action before continuing an aggressive dump. So can we see this as a fractal of what's happening now? Actually, I want to check this out because that is interesting to me. If we look at that price action, let's just grab that. We could say it could be something very similar to what we're seeing right now. You can see how we could see 3, 4, 5 weeks of little sideways and a couple green weekly candles within this range. And then is it going to break down? So it makes sense to me, though, also based off of our Elliott waves, right? From that $98,000 high, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then one more breakdown and a 5. It's just when this 5 breaks down, is it going to stop around 57K, or are we going to keep dumping pretty aggressive? But either way, the fractal could play out. It's very interesting, though, that the market rhymes so much as far as the weekly time frame money flow. Last time we crossed over into that red is really when we saw the very aggressive dumpage in the bear market. So we're crossing over into the red. As soon as we crossed over into the red, we started that very aggressive dumpage so far in a potential bear market. Also, there was no bull divs on the weekly. Once again, no bull divs. Now we do not have bull divs. They've been invalidated. I just want to check out the monthly time frame real quick, and let's see how, man, you know, it's just, the thing is with the Bitcoin on the monthly, it just does not look good to me how as we keep rising here, we are seeing volume, specifically volume, go down during the entire bull market, and this entire rise up. Volume's been decreasing, and the multiple drives of bear div, you can see from our last cycle's all-time highs. Bear divs from your last cycle's all-time highs, but also within this cycle, from the 2024 all-time high to the beginning of 2025 to the end of 2025, you have the bear divs as well. So not only regional bear divs on the monthly, but local bear divs on the monthly as well. And then, of course, bear divs on the money flow. As far as the money flow goes with these highs, and then Yanami shows pretty much the same thing. Bear divs on money flow across the board. Within our local year, last 2 years, bear divs on money flow, bear divs on momentum, higher time frame regional bear divs. It just does not look good on the technicals on high time frames. It does suggest that we might be going into a prolonged bear market. And if we are, guys, that's fine. We'll trade the bear market and still make money during the bear market. Now, I understand it's going to suck for some of our spot bags and that we might have to be patient with some of the buys that we've had. But in the meantime, you just scrape money from the market every single day. Mark out your local levels, wait for confirmation, and take trades scraping money every single day. All right. Shez, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that comment. I'm glad you like the TA and everything. Time Attack, welcome in, my friend. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for modding for me. And yes, let's go. All right. I think we dumped down a bit. Crispy, you're saying like locally right now we could dump down a bit. Well, yes, we could. We do have those nice 15-minute and 12-minute bear divs. So we had lower time frame, bull divs. We had lower time frame bull divs as we came down today to make those new lows. But on like the 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour, there's no bear divs. And that is a little bit concerning for me. So we're just going to have to see. I want to see, like I said, guys, we need to, first off, flip our 68.1K anchored VWAP. We need to break above this because for the past couple of days, for the past, I would say day or so, it's been acting as resistance now that we've lost it. You can see here it was acting as support. This was a little bit of a deviation because you got back above it. But once we lost it, now it's been acting as resistance for, I guess, pretty much just for the last 24 hours. It's been acting as resistance. So we really want to start to flip that to support here. We want to see volume kicking in. And it does look like our channel midline is holding right now. And we might be able to get a break of this channel. So let's see how this plays out. I don't like how volume is decreasing on this move to the upside in an ascending channel. Anytime you see an ascending channel like this with volume decreasing as the channel's forming, I mean, that could be recipe for a breakdown. So yeah, there is some bearish signs, bearish warning signals, I should say. But the next couple hours should tell us everything we need to know. Actually, I'd say next half a day. We want to start to break up with some volume. Is there a possible Cerveza Corona Black Swan coming? Yeah, there could be, man. Benny, and welcome in, Benny Blanco. Appreciate you, man, from the Bronx. I love that. Benny Blanco from the Bronx. We have a lot of uncertainty in the macroeconomy right now. And the number one thing that causes black swans in markets, in these big global markets, is uncertainty in the market. You know, COVID was such a big black swan because the world didn't know if it was actually a world-ending virus that was going to kill half the population, or if it was going to be, you know, some sort of psyop, or what it was going to be. But that uncertainty, if you remember back to March of 2020, for 2 weeks the world was highly uncertain and in fear, and so that uncertainty is what caused that huge black swan event. If you remember back in 2021, the black swan event that happened in 2021 was the FTX, corruption, I guess. That's the best way I can explain it. The FTX corruption, you know, the laundering of money, the stealing of customers' funds to pay for his Bahama, orgies and stuff like that. So we could see it. Absolutely. We have a lot of uncertainty. We have a brand new Fed chair that just came in. We have interest kind of staying sticky. Inflation, not interest. Inflation is kind of staying sticky. And so, yeah, maybe we do see something like government shutdowns happening. It seems like every other month the government's going to shut down again. All right. Tiki Taku, welcome in, man. I think we first pump and then we get new lows. Yeah, that's exactly what I think, man. So within this local range here, I do think it's likely that we're going to take out our 72.2K highs. And as Lostex was saying, you know, that around between 73 and 74K. Let me turn that pitchfork back on. So I really like that area. You can see my purple box up here. This next purple box of resistance, I know that it's just a pitchfork and a naked daily point of control, but it would also take the liquidity from the weekend highs. And if we're going to see that 3-wave corrective move coming right up into that area, and actually now that the low could be in and we could be about to impulse up here, we can actually pull a trend-based Fibonacci extinction. So we'll grab our extinction, or should I say extinction, inside joke on the channel. We'll grab that extinction level. And you can see that trend-based Fibonacci extinction between the 1-to-1 and the 1.236. It is right in that zone. It's pretty much right in that zone. So if this is going to be you know, you have your W here, you have your X here, and then you have your Y here. But within your Y wave, you're looking for a 3-wave corrective move, right? You have within your W, you have that 3-wave corrective move. Now your X is a double zigzag in here, and that is common with X's. Like if we look at our larger range that was for 2.5 months, you know, between 80 and 98, this bigger range up here, you saw something very similar in this as well. But either way, we're looking for the Y wave. You know, we're looking for the Y wave now, and that Y wave is going, if it's going to be, because we started here with an impulse, now we have to say the Y wave is going to be an ABC. Impulse 5, 3, 5, right? So, or impulse, correction, impulse to finish that Y wave. So it does make sense that we could see, if the low is put in today, we want to see impulsive price action starting here. Now it's not going to go straight up, right? It's going to be like some stuff ones or a couple 1-2s maybe, and then your big push, and then we're going to get some 4-5s maybe coming up here and rejecting, forming a bit of a range, and then, you know, you'd want to see that dump come in, and that dump ultimately, it's not going to go straight down like I'm drawing, but ultimately after this rejection, you want to see it take out your 60K lows. So yeah, local move up. I'm prioritizing locally for moves up, at least to take out last weekend's highs at 71K, but more probable is to take out those 72 highs from 2 weekends ago, and then we could see the dump. Yeah, Paper Beats Rock, welcome in, man. I'm joining the Telegram today, Divine. No more excuses. Well, Tony CC, thank you so much for joining, man. I can't wait to see you in there. And when you do get in, please at me in the general chat, and I just would like to say hi to you once you get in. So thank you so much, Tony. Appreciate you so much. All right. My Black Swan question throws off super technical guys. No, in some ways, Benny, it does throw off technical guys, but we are living in the real world. So yes, technical analysis is based off probabilities, but there is always going to be those crazy things that happen in the market that kind of can wash away the TA. But actually, even if you look at a lot of the technicals, they tend to foreshadow a black swan coming. And like the one thing that I would say that, okay, first of all, we see the uncertainty happening in real life with the new Fed chair, with all the things going on with inflation, the macroeconomy, you know, the treasury, the stuff going on with the treasury bonds, United States treasury bonds. But also, as far as the technicals go, the technicals are showing for some sort of like big black swans possible that could dump us like very aggressively, because we have very aggressive bear divs. I would say some of the most aggressive bear divs we've seen in the history of Bitcoin. And I know that's a wild statement to say, but if let's just go to the index chart here on Bitcoin. That's not the index. There we go. And we'll just zoom out to the monthly time frame. Let me get rid of this. And on the monthly time frame, on that index chart, I mean, you know, within one cycle, let me get rid of some of this stuff here. Within one cycle, you've not seen bear divs. Like there was some pretty aggressive bear divs in 2021, right? 65K to 69K, higher highs. You did get the lower highs pretty aggressively. But you can see at the top of our 2017 bull market, no monthly bear divs. At the top of our 2014, 2013 bear market or bull market, no bear divs on the monthly. But it's now within this cycle, actually there was very, very slight bear divs. Now within this cycle, you can see the multiple drives of bear div on the monthly time frame within this cycle's bull market. So that is where it can get really aggressively scary, where we can say maybe a black swan is going to come in that's going to really, you know, dump us into oblivion, into the crypto abyss. Okay, I'll be joining that Discord too when he finally makes it. Yes, awesome. Well, I'm super happy for that, guys. The Discord is going to be coming in a bit. So thank you guys so much for that. How much is the paid version of Market Cipher B different from the, or how is the paid version different from the free version? Well, Tony Box J4Z, I can't answer that question too much because I really have never used the free version of Market Cipher B. There's probably a lot of people that in this chat that could probably give you a better analysis on that than I could. I bought this, I think, gosh, man, it was like 20. I've had it for at least 5 or 6 years. So, but also NAMI. So if you are interested in an indicator, a paid indicator that I back tested and I know works really well, this bottom indicator here is called NAMI. And I've partnered with NAMI Trading, is the website, the owners, NAMItrading.com. I've partnered with this indicator here. This is a paid indicator, but I did get a 50% off discount for you guys. If you use my affiliate link in the description and use the discount code DIVINE50, you can get NAMI, and it makes it much, much cheaper than Market Cypher B. I think Market Cypher B for a month, for a lifetime subscription is like $1,500 or maybe even like $1,800 now. I'm not sure. But with NAMI, with the discount, I think it's like around $500 for lifetime. And in my opinion, it will pay for itself almost immediately. If you win a couple good trades, and you're basing it off this indicator, you could pay for it pretty much, have it for lifetime just by winning a couple trades based off it, helping you get into the proper trades. So for me as a trader, or as any expert in the field, right? If you're a plumber, you have the proper tools to do plumbing. If you're a welder, you have the proper tools to do the welding. Architect, contractor, you have the proper tools to do the job. For me, NAMI is one of those tools that I use to help maximize, my profits within trading, within this, I guess, field. And so Market Cypher B is another one. So both of these I use as proper tools to help me maximize my profits. And for me, it's investing back into like the business in some ways, right? If you own a plumbing business, you're going to invest in the tools you need to be long-term successful and make the job as easy as possible for you. So for me, that's the way I see it. I might have to pay a little bit of money, $1,500 for Market Cypher B, 5 years ago, but it's also helped me tremendously. I've made far more than $1,500 off of profit with the help of it. And once again, both these indicators are just confirmations for me once we get to our key levels. For me, it's always price action first, indicator second. And what I mean by that is you're gonna come on the chart and you're gonna look at the actual candles, the levels of support and resistance. So your naked daily points of controls, your volume, your Fibonacci's, your pitchforks, your channels. Once you find those purple boxes of confluence, you mark out those boxes where you're likely to get rejections. Then once we're getting up to that area, now I'm going to come down to my indicators and I'm going to look, are we seeing confirmation is short? As we were coming up to hit our purple box here on Sunday, did we see bear divs on the chart? Did we see money flow leaving out of the asset? Yes, we did. So it gives me my confirmation to look for the short, to enter the short once we get up to the level. But I'm not, like, say we're seeing some bear divs, here in between these two highs, right? Bear divs in between those two highs. You did see some bear divs in between those two highs, but we hadn't quite gotten up to the level yet. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to be patient and wait. And even in the Telegram, I told you guys, I think this was Saturday. Yeah, Saturday morning for me, I actually posted in the Telegram, we're rejecting exactly from the pitchfork band, but I didn't enter a short there because we didn't quite make it up to my level. Now, yes, if we would have rejected there and fell over, I would have accepted that because it is the to the dollar touch of that pitchfork band. But I thought we could make it up a little bit higher, which was the value area high of the range as well. So if we look at the value area higher there, it was also your 786 Fibonacci was up there. And so, yeah, that's how I do it, guys. All right. Are we confirming a 112 right now? Sorry, I just jumped into live. I would say it's guy in a hat. Thank you so much for being here. I would say it's too early to confirm anything right now because this could be a 3-wave corrective move and we're about to dump, right? If it's going to be a 112, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to push up, you want to see this starting to kick in, volume starting to kick in on a move to the upside. So I would say your 112 impulse, you want to now pull a Fibonacci from this higher low that was created earlier today to the new highs that we just made. And if you lose the golden pocket to the 786, then it's likely that it was a 3-wave corrective move. And I get that this is already a big retracement, but you really kind of want to bounce from that golden pocket. If it's going to be a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you're going to start pushing up, you want to bounce from that golden pocket. If you start to lose that golden pocket, it's more likely that this was a 3-wave correction and that we're going to dump to new lows. So we'll just have to look at this as the stream is continuing here the next couple hours, next half a day. We really do want to see volume starting to kick in on the move to the upside. And let's actually look at our order flow here, because I want to see if we're seeing anything interesting right now in the order flow. Not really. I mean, I don't like that so much. So we are seeing some very slight bearish absorption. You can see here, this high here is higher than the high we just made. So we do actually have some lower highs on the price action. And within that, you can see we have the CVD is having higher highs. Yes, this doesn't look good, the kind of drop in between, but technically you do have higher highs on CVD. You do have lower highs on your price action. That right there is already confirmed bearish CVD divergences. But we want to see bearish absorption. So bearish absorption is when you're seeing those bearish CVD divergences, but your open interest from that high, so right here, is also increasing. And yes, it is increasing. Now, it's not a steady increase. You generally want to see a steady increase. This is a really crappy, wavy increase. I don't like that. I don't like how we saw a big drop in the open interest, and I don't like how we're seeing a drop in open interest right now. But technically, on the charts, we are seeing bearish CVD absorption. Man, that's kind of depressing right there. Not depressing, I'm sorry. That's the wrong word. Kind of a bummer. Very locally, I would say this, if we're going to see a breakout, right, you could say that this was your initial push up. You retrace to that golden pocket 786 area. And now are we forming a bull flag, like a 5-minute bull flag in here? Because if it is, then that bull flag breakout could continue, and that could create that third wave where we really push up in a third wave. So I would say, let's see if we can't get some sort of bull flag breakout on the 5-minute chart. Now, I'm not going to be trading this as a bull flag, of course. And the VWAP is important, because if we start to lose our daily VWAP or our session VWAP again, that is not going to be good, because earlier today, you know, obviously we've been under the VWAP since really, you know, mid-Monday, we lost the VWAP. We've been underneath it, kind of rejecting from it in this area. And then earlier today, we tried to push above it, but you can see it was kind of a failed auction above it. And then we fell down below. So for the first time in like over 24 hours, we're finally flipping that VWAP potentially to support. And if we can do that, that means we could probably change our very local trend to now, instead of seeing a local downtrend, we could start to see a local uptrend. So we want to see this VWAP hold, and we want to see some volume kicking in here. Man, is this going to be a bear flag? Let's turn on our volume here on the 5-minute. Okay, I kind of do like that. So you can see on the lows, on that higher low here, this is where I entered earlier today, like right in here. You can see volume was slightly increasing while you were pushing up in the pole. And then since the top, since the highs, volume decreasing. I guess it's more flat. I wouldn't say it's decreasing. I'd say it's more flat. But that's generally what you want to see with a bull flag as far as volume confirmation goes. You want to see volume increasing while you're making the pull, and then you want to see volume decreasing as you're making that flag. And then upon the breakout, of course, you want to see a big spike in volume. And a lot of people that trade patterns do not pay attention to volume confirmation. And remember, guys, volume and liquidity are the two most important things in the market. So why wouldn't you want to look at your volume to see if you actually have confirmation that that pattern could actually play out? And I know a lot of us guys in here are not necessarily pattern traders. I would not call myself a pattern trader, but I will kind of pay attention to them. I do not take action based off of a pattern. Machi HK, welcome in, my friend. Black Swan is Black Swan. You just can't predict a Black Swan to happen. Yeah, exactly. That's the reason why they call it a Black Swan, right? Because it's kind of an unexpected event that happens, a bearish event that happens. I passed the human test for today. Awesome. Not quicker. Yeah, fib extinction, right? I love it, dude. I love it. Thank you for kind of making that an inside joke for us. Last week during the stream, we joked about that. Yeah, if we know he says extinction, we know he's been taken hostage by the market makers, right? They're making me stay on my P's and Q's. But overall, also a Y should be corrective looking. Yes, a Y should be corrective looking. But here's the thing. Why can't that be corrective looking on the higher time frame, right? Because look at this push up here was pretty aggressive. I mean, what? It was a $12,000 move to the upside from 60K all the way up to 72K. It was a $12,000 push up. But overall, in the grand scheme of things, after seeing a massive dump, this looks like just a little sideways correction that could be in progress before continuing that dump. And even if we move up like the other day when we were pushing up here, a lot of people were getting hyper bullish and it was like, wait, this is just a small push up, guys. And then, yeah, we could correct and then we can make another small push up. And guess what? If we start making another small push up here, you bet as soon as we start breaking above these highs, I guarantee you we're going to see longs coming in up here. If we look at our order flow, we're going to be seeing longs come in upon breaking this high. They're going to say, oh, it's a triangle breakout, right? Some sort of triangle breakout happening. They're going to long, coming in to take out that high, coming in to take out this liquidity. They're going to be longing instead of shorting, and it's going to cause a lot of fuel to potentially reject us down. It never fails, man. It never fails. As soon, FOMO is a real thing for a reason, and we do see FOMO kick in a lot on pumps. It's actually quite crazy. In my life, I have some people in my circle that are not traders, but they're interested in crypto, like investing, buying spot. And when it's boring or there's a bear market, when crypto's dumping, they never want to listen to me when I say, guys, hey, now's a good time to start dollar cost averaging. If you like that Solana token, maybe start dollar cost averaging around, $50 and under, I tell them this. Or I remember in 2022, when it was under $20, I was buying heavily and I was telling them to dollar cost average in heavily. They didn't want to listen to me. But then when it pumps up and it's near all-time highs, now they're hitting me up on the phone saying, hey, I remember you told me about this. Like, should I buy it now? Should I, do you think it's still good to get in? Do you think it's still a good project? It's like, yeah, I still think it's a good project, but no, I don't think it's a good time to get in. You should have done it like when it was way lower. So it's just, it's the way that the general retail works. Yes, guys. Now, thank you, R-Pink, for posting that in the chat. So really quickly here, I want to take a second to shout out the partners of the channel. The main partner of the channel is BYDFI. They are a VPN and KYC free exchange. All you need is an email and a password to sign up. If you do sign up using my affiliate link in the description, you'll get a minimum of 20% discounts on your trading fees, which is a really high, guys, that's a really high discount on trading fees, like much higher than a lot of the other exchanges give. And you can actually earn up to 40% discounts if you deposit some large amounts into the exchange. Now, I think in order to get the 40% discount, you have to, it's like $1 million plus you have to deposit into the exchange. So I know most of the community is not going to be getting 40% discounts, but still 20% discounts minimum is really awesome. And at first it was 17% discounts and then they bumped it up to 20. I still think in my description, it still says 17. So I think I need to change that for you guys. But they're also offering up to $8,100 in futures trading bonuses, depending on how much volume you trade in the futures markets. So as we're day trading every day, Bitcoin and the altcoins, we're trading in the futures market, right? We're trading USDT contracts. And so it's futures-based markets. You can earn extra Bitcoin just for trading, just for moving volume within those markets. So it's another incentive for you guys to get in. And they're offering some of the best initial deposit bonuses in the entire industry. For instance, if you deposit $100, you can get a 50% deposit bonus on that. And that's the highest I've seen from any exchange for $100. And then up to $1,000, they're doing a 20% deposit bonus. And up to $20,000, they're doing a 10% deposit bonus. Like, that's crazy, guys. If you deposit 20K, you can get 2K of bonuses right away. Of course, there's some stipulations on that, right? You have to KYC in order to get the bonus. I think it's only a level 1 KYC, but To me, BYDFI is awesome. I've been talking to a lot of different exchanges for the past couple of weeks, and no one I've talked to can beat BYDFI. I've been actually, I'll talk about the new partner I'm bringing on today. I'll talk about that right now. But BYDFI is really just so good, you know, so good as far as the deals they give. They're a great exchange too. I've also partnered with BYDFI to create the Telegram group. The Telegram group's a private community, but it's free. All you need to do to get in is join BYDFI using my affiliate link in the description and then deposit $100. That $100 is still your money. You're not buying the Telegram for $100 like someone mentioned a couple weeks ago in the stream. That is still your money to trade. They're trying to get you to deposit it on the exchange as an incentive to try out the exchange, to try out, you know, the UI on it, the user interface, to try out the exchange, see if you like it. So once you've joined BYDFI with the affiliate link and deposited $100, you can click the Telegram link in the description of this video. And once you're in that Telegram verify channel, type in /verify and your user ID for BYDFI, the BYDFI user ID, which will be right up here. It's probably going to be a string of letters and numbers for you guys, but that'll get you access to the Telegram. And once you're in, guys. To me, it's a win-win for all of us. You guys will get access to when I post about what I'm thinking in the markets throughout the day. When I take a trade, I generally let you guys know when I'll take a trade on Bitcoin in there or the altcoins. And there's a general chat where you can tag me in that general chat and ask me questions. Second partner of the channel is going to be NAMI Trading. NAMI, like I explained earlier, is this momentum and money flow indicator on the bottom of your screen. It's been a really great indicator for me in helping me get in and out of trades, right? Like as we're coming up to the resistance, I want to see the bear divs on the chart. If I do, it's a confirmation to enter the trade. If we're coming up there and I don't see bear divs, I might say, hey, wait, you know, yes, we are at my level, but I don't see proper confirmation to enter a short and I'm not going to enter. But, you know, a lot of the times NAMI will show that confirmation to enter the trade. And so for me, it's been an invaluable tool. I've partnered with NAMI to get you guys 50% off. So if you do use discount code Divine50 and click the affiliate link in the description of the video, you can get 50% off NAMI. Now, the third partner of the channel that I want to talk about, a brand new partner that I just brought on, is Blowfin. Guys, I am now officially partnered with Blowfin. And Blowfin is been a... Let me see if I can open this here. Yeah, Blowfin has partnered with the Divine Hood Trading YouTube channel, and I do now have a link in the description to sign up on Blowfin. Blowfin is a non-KYC exchange. You don't need KYC to sign up. You can just email in a password. You can start an account on Blowfin, and they're doing some really cool things as well. So let me see if I can get this real quick. I'm sorry, I should have had this prepared before. Where are you at? All right. So Blowfin, for the first 300 users, guys, you can claim $1,000 in deposit bonuses. So if you deposit $100, you can get $20 worth of bonuses. You know, I know BYDFI is doing $50 instead of 20, but it's a 20% initial deposit bonus. $500 gets you $100, 1,000 gets you 200, 2,500 gets you 500. So really cool. You can get, and if you deposit $10,000, you can get $1,000. That's 10% on $1,000, guys. So that's pretty awesome. Blowfin this is going to be only for the first 300 users, and you'll receive a $10 voucher, and then you get VIP 1 for 30 days. So really cool. And then we will be doing some campaigns, some trading campaigns in the future, like I've done with BYDFI, trading campaigns where the winners can win extra money or extra, you know, Bitcoin. So really cool new sponsor. I'm really happy to be partnered with them. I've been talking to them for a while, testing out the exchange, and it's a great exchange as well. So Blowfin, new partner of the channel. If you guys do want to sign up using my affiliate link, it's a way to say thank you to me. I just want to find the best deals for you guys. So I still do think BYDFI has the best deals for you guys. Like I'm just going to be straight honest with you guys. BYDFI nothing beats BYDFI, but I do want to let you guys have options, right? And that's why I brought on Blowfin as well, just a second non-KYC exchange. So now I have 2 non-KYC exchanges, and then I have 2 KYC, which is MEXC and Bybit. And you guys know about those. The links are in the description. Bybit's offering up to $30,000 in futures trading bonuses, and MEXC is offering a 10% initial deposit bonus up to $1,000. So those are the partners of the channel. Guys, if you do, please hit the like button if you get anything out of the video. And if you do want to help out in some way, that's a way to help out. Just use those links to help the community and the channel grow. But let's get back to the TA here. Enough of that stuff. All right. Liam, welcome in, man. Lurker here, ready to join the Discord. Awesome, Liam. Well, guys, I will let you know when that's live. But I appreciate all of you so much. I get so much support from all you guys. So I just, I think we have a really great community in here. The biggest difference between real and free version is the money flow. Okay, so Mach HK is talking about the money flow is the biggest difference in the real and fake version of the market cipher. Guys, we are starting to lose the VWAP here. Very interesting. So let's see if this local golden pocket can hold us or if we can reclaim the VWAP relatively quickly. This isn't looking good to me. This isn't looking the strongest to me. Like this looks like if 3-wave correction, we need some volume to start kicking in here. Or else we could see new lows from today and we could continue down. Now, earlier today, we did front run the 786 Fibonacci. So if we look at, first off, we pull our range here. We did hit the value area low, which we front ran yesterday. Remember, we front ran it because we hit the 618 of the golden pocket and bounced there. But today we're actually coming down and hitting the value area low. But if we take that Fibonacci retrace from our 65K lows up to our 71K highs, and we look at golden pocket was hit yesterday, and you can see that's where we bounced yesterday, right? From that 618. But now we've lost it, or we've came down, we've hit the 6.5. You can see we're still overall holding that golden pocket. We wicked past it this morning, but overall it's still holding. But we haven't come down to the 786 yet. So that could be an area where if we're going to continue dropping to make new local lows, coming down to that 786 could hold us. Other than that, there's not much before taking out our lows at 65K. We do have a naked daily point of control at 65.5, or let's say 65.550. But honestly, if we lose the 786, I think it's a very high probability we do take out our 65K lows. Another thing to think about is you can see, obviously, I have our green box of support around 63,150 to about 62.6. But the bigger golden pocket within this range, when we go from the 60K lows up to our 72.2K highs, last week, when we came down on, what day was that? Thursday, February 12th, we did front run the golden pocket. You can see it was a front run, and I was actually really surprised we front ran that. And then we started that double 1-2 impulse to the upside. So if we are not going to hold this 786, we might continue dropping here until we actually hit the golden pocket that was front ran last week. Continuing to, come down to that golden pocket. Because it would be then a nice liquidity grab of those lows, of those internal lows into this golden pocket. So we'll have to see. Right now, the local price action is going to tell us what's going to happen. I would like for us not to claim those 65K lows. But if we do, we'll then just have to rework a little bit of our Elliott wave analysis here and, see what happens. I would say money flow was starting to look pretty good on the, what was it? Was it the 1 hour? Money flow was starting to curve up pretty nicely. It was the 2 hour. So now we have a new 2 hour candle. You can see your money flow starting to round off here, but last 2 hour candle, that money flow was coming up pretty aggressively with our momentum wave bottoming out. And on NAMI, we started seeing a sharp spike up in the money flow. I would really like to overall close and hold the daily candle above the value area low. And the value area low is coming in at about 66,915. Let's just say 66.9K. Let's come in here. Yeah, John M., absolutely, man. I appreciate that. And Dr. X, welcome in as well. There is no free MCB, only a copycat. Okay, yes, appreciate you so much. Caesar Coco, thank you for that comment, man. I appreciate you so much. Your TA puts things so clearly. As an investor and trader, just wanted to thank you. Well, thank you, Caesar Coco. I'm really happy that can help you even with the investor mindset. Random question. What was that supplement you mentioned a while back? It's called Shilajit. SHILIJIT. Shilajit. It is a Himalayan substance. It's pretty much plant material found way high up in the two mountain ranges. A mountain range up in Russia and a mountain range, the Himalayas, right? And the Himalayas are the better ones in my opinion. The Russians call it Mumio, and the the Pakistan, the Himalayas, over there in that part of the world, India, they call it Shilajit. But it's literally plant material that's hundreds of thousands of years old, millions of years old, that's been compressed between tons and tons of rock for thousands of years, for hundreds of thousands of years. And very high up in the mountain ranges in the summertime, it oozes out of the rock. It looks like a black tar, honestly. But they noticed these monkeys that had very, very healthy, strong muscles and very strong libidos that were procreating a lot better than the other species of monkey in the area. They would climb up during the summertime, climb up 14,000 feet and higher of altitude just to eat this black goo that was oozing out of the rocks. And so they followed him up there. The monks did. They followed him up there one day and started to see why they were so healthy and why they were, growing so much. And so the population was growing. And so they watched him eating this stuff and they looked at it. It's pretty much fulvic acid, which is really healthy for the body. Fulvic acid, humic acid, but it's 85 minerals and vitamins that are in the bioavailable form that humans have been taking in that ratio for hundreds of thousands of years, or for, for at least 200,000 years of modern humans. And so I do think it really helped me, man. Energy wise, even testosterone, my testosterone was boosted by it. I actually got tests done. I think it boosted my testosterone like 200 something points, guys. That's a huge boost for a natural supplement. But the biggest thing was the energy and the clarity of mind. No more brain fog. I mean, it was so great. So I do recommend taking it in the resin form, and it tastes like it tastes very earthy and bitter and garbage. They do make gummies for it now. I've tried some of the gummies that work pretty well. But Healing Shilajit, if you just type into Google, Healing Shilajit, that's the company that I used. They do third-party testing for heavy metals and toxins and stuff like that. It's great, man. Caesar Coco, I would recommend it. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm also not a health advisor, so it's just a recommendation. All right, let's see here. Let me check this, continue checking the chat. Man, I'm so far behind here. Do you agree with checking visible VPVR and other volume tracker indicators on high time frame? Yes, I do. Benny, volume is the most important thing, one of the most important things. So those high time frame volume levels tend to be respected quite a bit. Maybe not, you might see chop through it. Like, let's say this was like a huge, super high time frame POC. On the lower time frames, you might see some chop in and around it, but on the daily time frames, you're going to have your candle bodies like stopping right here and maybe some wickage past it. High time frame volume, like high volume nodes, whether that's a POC, a value area high, value area low, they're very, very helpful. Like one of the best tools and indicators you can use, in my opinion. Literally just shorted Chainlink. Okay, let's look at Chainlink. Yes, we can get into some of the altcoins, guys. Post some of the altcoins you want to look at. Oh, did you short? Oh, I guess we didn't SFP that high, but let's see here. Chainlink, okay, I do think this entire move here looks corrective, guys. This looked like impulsive price action down. This all looks corrective. The one thing that we haven't done yet is hit that local golden pocket at like $9. So if we can continue to chop in here until we hit 9, it would also be an SFP of these two semi-equal highs here. And then we might see that like kind of A, B, C, or like a, WXY correction to come down. Another thing is this move here looks overall, I mean, I guess you could count it as a 5-wave move. A wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, 4, 5. So if that's impulsive, you still want to come down to around your golden pocket, and you would pull that golden pocket from the impulse lows to the impulse highs. And you can see we haven't come down to that golden pocket either. So we might see something like this, you know, continuing slow grindy until we get up to 9, and then we might dump down to 850 or even like 830. Another thing with the altcoins, though, a lot of the altcoins have taken out their range highs. Unlike Bitcoin, Bitcoin's range high is at 72.2K. A lot of the altcoins have, let me keep that on there. A lot of the altcoins have taken out their highs. You can see the initial range highs from the pump on Chainlink were right around that $9 mark. We made a higher low, and then we made a higher high. So is the 3-wave corrective move done for Chainlink already? Where we did now see that, you know, WXY correction in here, or ABC. And it's possible. And then this could be a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, 4, 5. So we have to be diligent. I do think either way, though, around this $9 area, SFPing these internal range highs into that golden pocket might give us a decent move down. Now, if you're already short on that, I don't know where your stop is probably above these local highs, but you might want to move it up a little bit above that golden pocket. Or did you put your stop above these highs at, you know, 920, 924, and then you're targeting, you know, coming down much lower? Because remember, on Chainlink, let's just go to the 8-hour chart. This looks corrective, guys. This looks very corrective here. Look at this 3-wave zigzag move here. Now are we about to start dumping down to take out those lows again? It could happen. And if we did a quick dump down, relatively quick, maybe 3-4 days, we could develop some really nice bull divs with some really nice money flow coming down to that $7 mark, which would be very ideal for a swing long potentially. But for now, I mean, Chainlink, we can pull that. Let's go to the 2-hour chart. We can pull that sideways range that we've been seeing from the crash lows over, and you can see the value area highs also at that golden pocket. So, you know, $9 to like 901. I want to see a rejection from there. Actually, I think I'm going to set an alert there right now. Let's just do 901. And I want to look for a potential short. If we SFP these highs into that golden pocket with bear divs, I'm going to be looking for a short there, guys. Yeah, and it would just be range trading, right? And then look at where our other golden pocket is. It's going to be, well, actually, it's not going to be, it would be your 786 is going to be down near the value area low. So you could just see something like this, rejection, and then come down to value area low, seeing a zigzag correction. And if this continues, you don't long it, right? If it continues to break down, you just wait for the reaction, because this might break down. This might be a 1, 2, and then a big 3, 4, 5 to take out those lows. So we'll have to see how that works out. But right now, just range trade, right? When you're getting up near the highs of the range, which in this case is like around 901, you could start looking for shorts if you have bear divs. And it does look like we could be setting up for potential bear divs. Let's go to the 1-hour. Yeah, if we can come up a little bit higher, like, see how we're flipping the POC right now to support? If we can flip it to support in the next few hours and come up to that golden pocket, you would see some potential bear divs on the chart. Lower highs, higher highs, and then also on NAMI, you could see those lower highs come in. Money flow is in the red still on the 1-hour, so we'll have to see how that plays out. But Machi, if you're already short on that, I would just, where did you get in on it is where I guess I would want to know. If you literally just did, then that was probably like, what, 20 minutes ago? You're doing good. I would watch for this bounce at the POC at 882, because you can see on locally, it was acting as resistance in here, and now we're kind of flipping it to support. I know there's a lot of chop through it, so. What about, or about time we get a golden goose instead of a black swan? I would love that, Liam. It's just, I think golden gooses are even more rare than black swans. And, you know, part of the reason crypto pumps so much at the end of the year in 2024 and the beginning of 2025, because everyone thought the Trump administration was going to be a golden goose for crypto. the Bitcoin reserves within 90 days after, you know, all this stuff that was promised that never ended up happening. And I didn't think it was, you know, a lot of politicians can make promises that they don't know if they can fully get done, because it takes more than just the president. It takes Congress as well. So, and I'm not taking sides either way politically. Like, honestly, I just don't care about the, well, I don't want to say I don't care. It's very important for our lives, but for me, technical trades and stuff like that, you know, I'm a technical trader, so let's just say that. What do I think about ETHBTC? All right, let's check it. It's been a while since we've checked ETHBTC. Did I use Coinbase last time? Yeah. All right. Wow. ETHBTC. Okay, so we were in this descending channel. We bounced from our support box here. Saw a nice little breakout of the channel. Actually, you can see here. Let me get rid of this for a second. Bounced from our box of support. Broke out of the channel, back tested the channel, made new local highs because you bounced on the back test. But after, did we take out the liquidity? Yes, we did. So we took out some local pivots of the channel, some local liquidity. You can see right here, took out that liquidity, and then we're dumping. And honestly, it doesn't look very good to me. It looks like this could be, well, actually, I would say this starts with what looks like a three-wave move. I was going to say maybe a 1-2, and then all of this is a 3, but because that starts with the three-wave move there, we can't say that. The better thing is you could say, okay, three-wave move here, kind of a three-wave move in here with a internal flat in here, and then this could be a three-wave move here, where now we're starting to form that bottoming range where we could see a reversal. But let's look at on the higher time frames. Let's get rid of this now. Let's get rid of a lot of this local junk in here. This weekly, I'm going to leave that weekly on the chart because it, well, actually our POC will probably still be there. Let's see. Yeah, POC is still there. So we'll get rid of that. Man, the one thing I do not like here about on the weekly time frame, this push up looks very three-wave-ish. 1, 2, 3. Now I can see where you could count this as a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3. That was your little wave 4, but it's a very short wave 4 and then a wave 5 here. And if that is impulsive, then you're looking for a larger 3-wave corrective move down before continuing up on the weekly. So we would want to look at that golden pocket. And let's put that on log scale to see how that's, yeah, that's your proper golden pocket there. Yeah, proper golden pocket right there. So around that monthly. You had this big weekly fair value gap in here. You can see we had this giant fair value gap that was right here. And we're inside the fair value gap. So it's likely that we do fill that fair value gap. And if we fill that fair value gap, you would be coming right down to that golden pocket. Let me just throw on the fair value gap indicator. You can see some of it's already been filled because we're inside of it already. But that weekly fair value gap, now that we're inside of it, this might continue to grind down until we filled it all the way. And then we could look at if this is going to be a 3-wave corrective move overall. Yeah, coming down. I mean, yeah. So the non-log golden pocket is interesting to me as well. Let's just throw our non-log golden pocket up there. I do kind of like that as well, because you can see it's going to be right around your 1-to-1 Fibonacci extinction, and it's going to be filling that fair value gap. If we turn on that fair value gap, I guess it's actually in the middle of it. Never mind. This one's definitely a little bit better. And it would be coming down to that 1.236 Fibonacci extinction as well. All right. Man. The scary thing here is over the past, since April, we made that push up above the POC. You can see this is our macro range POC. It goes all the way back to 2017. And the big scary thing is, you know, you broke above it, you flipped it to support, so you continued up, pushing up higher. But now we have lost the POC, and for the past 3 weeks, we've been underneath that POC. Even on low time frames, we've back tested that POC and rejected. So you can see how we're starting to form a range underneath the POC now. That is not good to see. We do not want to see ranges form underneath this POC. In my opinion, that's a little bit bearish. Now, could we start to see that? You saw the big aggressive dump, and now it's starting to see some exhaustion here. So yes, this could be a little bit more exhaustion before breaking above, flipping that POC and continuing. We need to see that soon. We do have some actually nice bull divs on the chart. Whoa, very nice bull divs. So you can see within this exhaustion, lower lows on the price action, higher lows on both Market Cipher B and NAMI, and NAMI is just crossing into the green. This looks pretty good, actually, for a push up, but are we going to see this continue to grind within this channel for a bit? So we can look at that channel. Let's zoom in onto the 4. And I want to take our channel. Let's do it right there. Let's do this. So yeah, just kind of grinding within this channel. You can see today we flipped that midline to support, and now we're working up. So are we just going to continue to kind of make these slightly lower highs, slightly lower highs, slightly lower highs? So if we come up to the top of the channel again, we might make a slightly lower high and then continue to grind down. I will say this, we did take out the lows finally. That was over the weekend actually though, so because those lows were made on the weekend, they do have a higher probability of getting taken out again. Yeah, and then I would say we even have, let's see here. What's scary is we are in this gap now. You can see this big gap here. There's nothing to support us, and we're starting to fall inside of it. So, you know, yes, we have some bull divs on the chart, but if we make a move up and reject from the POC again and grab local liquidity, like very local, the highs rate here at the POC, and then we reject it, we're going to probably flush straight down through all of this pretty quickly. I'm not saying like in 1 hour or 1 day, but it might be, you know, 3-4 days of a straight drop there. Quick move up means quick move down. So we really want to start holding soon. Let's go to the 8 hour. Do we see, oh yeah, nice, very nice bull divs on the 8 hour developing as well. So you can see daily bull divs. We have 8 hour bull divs very nicely. Money flows crossing into the green, looks pretty strong on NAMI in the green. I would say we are likely to see a move up on ETH against Bitcoin soon. But we might make one more local low, right? 4 hour has nice bull divs. Actually, case this looks really nice. 4 hour bull divs, money flow crossing into the green. as far as NAMI goes, yes, you do have slight bull divs between the beginning of the range and the lows that were created this weekend. And then the 1 hour, let's see. So what I would be focusing on mostly is this little range, this choppy sideways range in here. Pull your volume profile for that sucker. You want to start to break out and close above the value area high at 029716. Yeah, for sure, because that's also going to be your golden pocket. Since making the new low on Sunday, so this is a fresh golden pocket that has not been hit. And also, if we look at that parallel channel, it's going to be at the top of that channel. So if we reject at the value area high golden pocket top of the channel, I would expect another move down, maybe to make another low. That could form another drive of bull div, but soon, relatively soon, based off the intermediate and high timeframes, we're probably going to see a move on ETH against Bitcoin. It's probably going to pump compared to Bitcoin. But let's see if we make one more local low and one more local rejection and one more low first. I guess pay attention to that 029 area, 0297, 0298. That is going to be the primary area where we could see a rejection and a rotation. Also, if you had spot bags, hypothetically, in the 80s cost basis, where would you say for you would be an area to dump the bag for a tax harvest before a retrace down? Man, okay, so if I had a lot of my spot position at 80K, oh geez, honestly, like if we start to at the end of this correction, right? So 73 to 75K could be the end of it, where we see this corrective move end before dumping to 57 or lower. That's the highest probability. Now, this is based off probability, right? So nothing is for sure in the markets because there is two scenarios. Caesar Coco, there's two macro scenarios. There is and let me go to my Bybit chart. And we'll go to the daily time frame. So there is still a scenario that we are pretty much done. We hit the 1-to-1 Fibonacci extinction. So if this is going to be a WXY, and in the W, you have your major three-wave move here. Within the X, your major three-wave move here. Within the Y, we could still be making some sort of three-wave move in like a double bottom or coming down to 57K. Because the Y wave, I wouldn't say this would be comfortable for a three-wave move. That little 2 in there is too small, or that little correction in there is too small. So I would still say it's likely we're going to make new lows. But the thing is, if this is the WXY that's going to end soon at your 1-to-1 or your 1.236, which I think would be a really good spot, like 57K to me is super strong, guys. Then yeah, you might want to consider dumping here if you're going to buy it back, in this area or lower. I mean, it depends on your hold, right? Like hypothetically, if you're in the 80s, if you're okay holding that for a couple years, then why don't you just keep dollar cost averaging at lower prices? But if you're going to try to get rid of it for tax harvest, so you can harvest your losses by the end of the year, really, I do think that we could bottom out before the end of the year and be above 80K by the end of the year. It just really depends. I think that we are somewhat have a high probability of going into a bear market, but even in a bear market, like I showed you, you'll see, 40% rallies to the upside that last quite some time. And I would expect that we're probably going to see a decent rally coming in relatively soon here. Because if this is going to be, whether it's the bearish WXY here, actually, in some ways, that's bullish too, because after that ends, you're expecting a motive wave up. Or if it's going to be just the 5-wave impulse, right? Instead of the WXY, it is a 5-wave move. After this impulse finishes here, you could get that move at least up to the golden pocket. So you would pull a golden pocket from the highs of the impulse to wherever those lows are going to be. You could get a move all the way up to 100K. And, you know, that would actually make sense if you bounce from the pitchfork midline. If we continue down in this 5, bounce from like 57, 56 and a half, you get that 3-wave corrective move up to that upper pitchfork band, which, by the way, was holding as support for most of 2025, now could be turned into resistance for 2026 and 2027. And then you could see a dump. That would also create that sort of left shoulder, head, right shoulder, weekly time frame or monthly time frame inverse head and shoulders that could happen. That's speculating quite a ways out. So I don't like to necessarily speculate that far out. But another thing we can do now, guys, is with our important volume profiles, we can go from that 2024 range high over, because now that we've re-entered back inside of this range and we've found acceptance back within your 2024 range, we can combine the two ranges now. You do have mostly, this was your 2024 range, this was your 2025 range, but now that you're falling and finding reacceptance back within the older range, you can combine them and you can look at those combined volume levels. Yeah, $53,500. We might drop to there over the next month or so, but you can see, unlike Coinbase, well, first off, look at our POCs here of that range, right? We're right at the POC pretty much, $67,000. But you can see the value of the anchored VWAP from the bear market lows, at least on Bybit, we're at them right now. Very important to me, though. I use Coinbase volume levels. They are more respected. We have not hit the Coinbase. It's at 57K. Bybit, we're at it now. We've even wicked past it. Let's check out Binance. Binance, no, this is not the right one. Yeah, Binance is much, much lower, 41K. Wow. And then let's look at our index chart. Yeah, see, index chart looks exactly like Coinbase, 57, 58. So I would be looking for that to be like a macro support level between 57 and 58K. So if you're thinking about selling, you just got to ask yourself, am I willing to sell at 73,000? Say we get up to 73,000 and reject. Am I willing to sell at 73, take 7K per Bitcoin loss, and then rebuy back around 57, 58? Or is it just not worth it to sell there, but to keep dollar cost averaging as we get down to this area? So that's a question that you would have to hypothetically ask yourself. Today's a solar eclipse, which tend to be bearish. Okay, wow. Thank you for letting me know that. I get bored and went down to the 1 minute time frame. C-Link is about to do a market structure break on 1 minute. Okay, awesome. MachHK, so you're doing some scalping. You might, yeah. Very cool, man. But I know, see, the thing is, guys, MachHK is pretty experienced now in this market. I've known him for a couple years now in the Jason Discord and seen him grow as a trader quite a bit. You got to be careful with very low time frame scalping like that, unless you're very, very comfortable knowing like the short-term analysis and short-term levels. And I bet you MachHK is taking profit pretty dang quickly on those scalps with proper risk management as well. Andrew, welcome in, man. It's good to see you in here. I'm on a live chat with Nami asking them if they have a tutorial. They don't. They don't have much tutorials, but you know what? I was just talking to False Prophet. He's the creator of it, and I am going to try to learn more about changing the settings on it. One of the reasons I haven't created a tutorial is because I'm not super familiar with changing the settings to show you guys different settings on it. But I do plan to make some in the future. Rui, thank you so much as well. I appreciate you as always for being in here and always for your support. From what I remember, they don't have a tutorial. Yeah, okay, so Supreme Court ruling tariffs illegal. Yes, that absolutely could be a black swan, right? Because that's going to create uncertainty. Dr. Goat, what is up, man? Welcome in. Is it a yearly or lifetime membership? I'm already partial. It's a lifetime membership. for NAMI trading. Yeah, Blowfin is awesome too, guys. I'm super excited with it. I threw some money on there. I've been testing it out for a bit. I do have to say I still prefer BYDFI over them, but you know, BYDFI's just discounts are better, and those trading fees do eat at you. They do matter. So I don't expect us to break below our 618 Fibonacci pulled from the 60K lows until the large dump begins. Yes, okay, so you're talking about the golden pocket here at 64K, 64.8 to 64.4. Yeah, I wouldn't actually, I'm still expecting us to not even break those 65K lows. Like, I don't want to break these. Honestly, guys, if we want to see another leg up, we don't want to break these lows. So you want to see impulse, higher low, impulse. And that's kind of what we're looking for to end this overall correction before dump. And remember, I showed you guys this last Friday. How did our last big range go? It ended with that kind of three-wave corrective move, right? So you had your three-wave corrective move here, a three-wave corrective move down, and then that three-wave corrective move up. And it was only within this last leg of the impulse right here that you saw a bunch of people getting hyper bullish and longing. So now if we're going to see a repeat of that on lower time frames, right? We have the push up from last week, a move down, and then if we push up very similar to end that, to take out your range highs and potentially come up to 73.5 to 75, you're going to see a lot of people, just like in this little section, longing the breakout up here, and it could be fueled just to bring you back down, just like it did here. Praying this anchor trigger pattern holds on the 4-hour AVAX. All right, let's check out AVAX here. Yeah, I mean, overall, the money flow does look like it's curving up nicely, but you can see now it's starting to dump into the red again. We've turned back into the red on Market Cipher B, and on NAMI, it's been in the red for quite a bit. The one scary thing here on the 4-hour, you printed that hidden bear div. After losing the POC, you can see you lost the POC. On the back test of the POC, you printed a hidden bear div. And you haven't taken out that low since the rejection of the POC here. So honestly, we might continue pushing down until we at least take out these semi-equal double lows now. We have semi-equal lows down there. You can see these semi-equal lows that I think would be probable to take out. Actually, yeah, pretty much equal lows there. That's twice the liquidity. And since we've lost the POC, rejection, rejection, rejection. I mean, we might continue rejecting it at least until we take out those $9 lows. But I will say this so far looks corrective. This entire push down here looks corrective. So after that, I mean, the scary thing is you've already broken your local range highs, and you could see that as the three-wave move, and now you're about to really dump here. But very locally, I would be looking to take out $9 before any significant push-up. But even if you get a significant push-up, I would be very cautious of a lower high before creating a lower low. So, you know, like, say we're going to keep chopping within this little thing until we actually take out those $9 lows. Then you get a push-up here, maybe to take out these highs and reject from the value area high. And then you're going to see the big dump. So just be careful for that. Yeah, I mean, money flow on the 8-hour looks pretty bearish, and it's leaving again on NAMI as well. It's just not good to see that three-wave corrective move. And now that we're on the intermediate time frames, this here, that looks like a three-wave corrective move. The bullish scenario here is that this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you're going to push up in a third wave here. Man, if you're going to see that, you know, within the next week or so, you need to see some volume kicking in. The thing that is kind of bad here is, look at volume overall has been decreasing, and the spike in volume, actually the spike in volume was on the low over the weekend. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't like how you had the bear div in here. It does look pretty choppy, though. Let's look at... Another thing is we finally lost our pitchfork. We lost the bottom of the pitchfork. We've come down. We've taken out the all-time lows, at least on the Coinbase chart. You took out your all-time lows. Now, if you're macro bullish on AVAX, now is not a bad time to start dollar cost averaging. But you can see if we were looking at this being a... Let me just get rid of some of this. I was showing you guys some things there. If we're looking at this being a couple things, you could say this is some sort of contracting diagonal in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A contracting diagonal motive wave to the downside. And you might expect some retrace to backtest your POC before kind of continuing and forming accumulation down here. Or this could be, like, you can see I have the 1-to-1 and the 1.236 on the chart, because I was looking at also this could be that 3-wave corrective move. Now you're going to continue up. The big things is we had our upper range. This was your upper range in here, right? Upper range. You've broken it down, and now we have that lower range here. And I would say we've definitely found acceptance back within the lower range. That's why I combined it to make this one big one. No weekly bull divs on Market Cipher, but Nami is showing them, and the money flows coming to the upside. I like that. And I just want to throw on these prior lows. Are we above them? Yes. So you are over holding your overall lows on the chart. You're like all-time low on this thing. The daily time frame doesn't look the best, though. We didn't have bull divs at this major low. You would expect to see, actually, yeah. No, Nami didn't even show bull divs on that major low. So if we could even get one more new local low, maybe into that $7 mark, you could see now some nice bull divs forming on the daily time frame. But if this was going to be a super macro low, I would expect to see some bull divs. Also, you could get a new low and you could see bull divs on Market Cipher as well. Money flow does look like it's starting to roll out again on Market Cipher on the daily time frame. So wait, what did you ask about it? So you're praying that the trigger wave holds on the 4-hour. Yeah, I mean, we do see local bull divs within this little... Actually, no, we didn't, because it's equal lows. So we haven't seen bull divs yet. I would be waiting to take out those $9 lows, to be honest. Until, yeah, I think it's highly likely we come take out those equal double bottom $9 lows. I'd rather go down to 63K. Let's just go from here, please. Yes, right, time attack. I know that a lot of people get bored when we start ranging like this and smaller and tighter price action. So, but range trading is some of the best trading, actually, man. That's where you can make some of the most profits with some really good risk to reward. All right, Bitcoin's trying to... I just don't like what we're seeing here as far as our ascending channel with our volume decreasing as we're rising in the channel. See how our volume continues to decrease here as we're kind of grinding up? That is a classic sign of a corrective move before losing the channel and dumping. Ugh. Bubba trading, how am I counting this range in Elliott waves? Well, there's a couple ways to count it, but the main one I'm looking at here is a WXY correction, right? So we have our 3-wave move in the W. Now, this is going to be a double zigzag in an X here with a running flat. X here, double zigzag. And then our Y wave, you want to see, because this was impulsive here, because this move last week was impulsive, you would have to say that's an A wave, B, and then you would want to see a C wave to take out the highs. And that would be your Y wave, right? So it would be like this. Here's your W. Here's your X, and then overall your Y wave is coming up. But within the Y wave, you want to see that 3-wave move, right? You want to see an ABC within the Y wave. So you would be looking for this as the A wave in an impulse, because remember, in an ABC, the A wave and the C wave are always impulsive structures. 5-3-5s is what we call them, right? B wave here, complex correction in a B. This, by the way, this grind down does look corrective. And then your C wave, you would want to come up to in the overall WXY correction. And then after that, you would be expecting a dump to take out your 60K lows. Can you give gold analysis? Yes, absolutely. You know, we were looking at gold the other day, and I'm so sad that I missed this short. I was looking at this short, and then we even came up to the $5,000 golden pocket, and you could have shorted that. So the last week when we were looking at gold, we were looking at coming up and rejecting this area, and then we saw that big push down. We came up just to fill in your fair value gap. You can see that we had that big fair value gap right here. Fair value gap into your golden pocket. We rejected, creating another lower high, and now we're creating a lower low. But we finally come down to take out that liquidity. Guys, give me just a second. Yes. Give me just a second, guys. I'm going to mute the mic for a second. All right, sorry about that, guys. Where was I here? Oh, so on the higher time frames on gold, though, I do think we could be coming down to around $4,100 to $4,000 on gold. If we're looking at, let's go zoom out to the daily time frame. So the reason why is obviously we saw a giant dump, and let me just hide some of these, clean this up a bit. So we saw a huge dump. We rejected the top of the pitchfork band, saw a huge dump, losing the entire pitchfork band, pretty much came up and back tested your golden pocket. It was also your 2.618 Fibonacci extinction. And now I'm thinking we could see that third wave. So a 3-wave corrective move on the daily time frame, which will take a few months to play out. But you can see that 1-to-1 Fibonacci extinction target is coming down to your pitchfork midline. And as far as pitchfork trading goes, we lost. First off, we flipped the lower band to support. We broke above the midline. We flipped the midline to support. We came up to the top of the band. We rejected the top of the band. We've lost the band. We pretty much backtested it. We front ran the backtest, but we're rejecting. And now, even after, we have to say that, let me zoom out to the 3-day chart. This is clearly impulsive price action in here. So within this impulse, now if we see a larger corrective move that lasts a month, few months, down to $4,000, you'd be hitting your pitchfork midline, which now has already been established to flip to major support. It would be your 1-to-1 Fibonacci extinction. I mean, that could give you new all-time highs. So that's why I'm looking for, at $4,000, potentially buying some, or swing longing this sucker. Another reason why I do think this could be a complex correction. Let me hide this little range. We started out the gold dump. Let's go to the 1 hour. It looks more like a 3-wave corrective move, right? So you have your 3-wave corrective move to start it, not an impulse, a 3-wave corrective move to start it. Then we got a 3-wave corrective move to reject from your golden pocket. And now we're just chopping down slowly, but I expect another dump down in a potential 3-wave corrective move, making your WXY coming down to 4,000, 4,100. I would really be looking to swing long that sucker. But for now, you play your range. Okay, we can get rid of this. Actually shorted that golden pocket and took profit at that low. But if we're looking at this sideways range in here, yeah, you're trying to hold on to the value area low. You do have some local bull divs on the chart on the 1 hour. Four-hour money flows pretty heavily in the red, and no bull divs. No bull divs on NAMI either. So I would say, yeah, you might get a small move up. Today's daily close is going to be important. Are we going to close above or below $4,884? Because if we start to close a daily candle below this value area low, we're likely to continue pushing down. And it does make sense to me that we are going to continue pushing down. Yeah, I mean, but overall, I do expect eventually within a year, new all-time highs on gold. Coming up, I think we could come up to like $6,700 to $7,000, $6,700 to $7,000 on gold in the next, I would say, 2 years. But I'm just looking at this corrective move. Overcome 70, welcome in, man. Thank you so much for being here. And Time Attack, thank you so much for posting the link in the channel. Guys, I have partnered now with Blowfin. It's a new partner of the channel. Time Attack just posted the link in the description. So if you do want to sign up with Blowfin, they are a non-KYC exchange. Great way to help out the channel, but we are now have a new partner. Blowfin is our new partner. Also, we have BYDFI, non-KYC exchange, the main partner of the channel for me, and they are giving some of the best deals, discounts on trading fees, some of the best initial deposit bonuses, and some of the best futures trading bonuses. So those are 2 exchanges. If you guys do want to sign up, it's a way to say thank you to the channel and a way to help out. Also, there's benefits for you guys in there as well. Okay, let's, wow, I'm so far behind. Mind Tapestry, you're trying to connect to False Prophet on Discord, but he's not accepting your message. I can reach out to him and tell him you're trying to talk to him. Let's see here. I just let him know for you real quick. I increase my test levels by using TRT. Would recommend. Yeah, that does work too, right? Time Attack I definitely works as well. I use a coconut shilajit tincture. Whoa, okay. that sounds awesome, actually. Hi, Divine Hood, late again. Though I have to watch it back. Yeah, Jojo, thank you for being here. It's all right that you're late. You know, we did cover a lot of Bitcoin primarily today. Yes, we'll look at Sui. I'm sorry, guys. I know I've been spending a lot of time on Bitcoin and just random chats. What am I doing here? Sui. Now, another thing, a lot of the altcoins have already made a higher high within the range, a three-wave corrective move. The one thing we did reject from the 618. So in an ABC correction or a WXY, say this is a ABC, right? Or a WXY, your most common targets are between the 1-to-1 and the 1.236, but the minimum target is that 0.618 Fibonacci extinction target. We did reject from that Fibonacci extinction target with bear divs on the chart, and we're back inside the range. We broke out of the value area high of that range, and on lower time frames, let me just go to the 2 real quick. You can see we broke above the value area high, back tested it, and made new local highs. But overall, we rejected this 618 area, and we rejected after taking the liquidity of the range highs, and now we have fallen back inside the range. We are chopping around the POC, but today, if we start closing the daily candle today below this POC at 97 cents, let's say 96.99, so 97 cents, then it is likely that we do continue down to 91.65-ish or 64-ish. What I'm worried about on all the altcoins is that three-wave corrective move is done, and now they're about to dump down to take out the lows that they made 2 weeks ago on February 5th. Another thing on Sui is we did lose our pitchfork. It was holding for about 3 months. You can see the bottom of the pitchfork was holding. We pushed up. We back tested our value area low of our upper range. So this upper range was over a year long. We lost the range. We bounced at the bottom of the pitchfork, but we pushed up to back test that value area low. And that rejection there was super important. As soon as we rejected there, we expected to take out these lows. And we've done that now. We've taken out those lows. But if we're looking at the overall rejection up here, we have our 1-2s up here, right? So we have 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, triple 1-2, our big third wave. This overall now we have to say was a fourth wave. Didn't mean to do that. Because we didn't make new lows in here. Actually, we did. So that was the end of our third. Fourth wave there. That was a flat. You can't even say that. You could say this is 4 and this is 5, and then this was a second 4 and this was a second 5, but then we need a third 4 and a third 5. But what's more likely, because you see the chops here, we really needed this to drop, and then we needed to see some chop at the end now, because we had chop at the beginning of this impulse down. So I would say this whole thing was our first 4. This was our first 5, and now we need to start seeing some chop down here, some 4-5s, 4-5s. Coming in down here, starting to get that exhaustion come in. If we do come down to 74 cents, that is a kind of key internal low there. Yeah, and then I would say your bottoming range is this bottom guy in here. So you did hit your POC of the range at 83 cents, but you might even come all the way down to 56 cents. Hopefully you don't, but you could. There's not much in here that's going to keep us from coming down to take out those 74-cent lows, because we got so close to them already. We came down to 79 cents. Yeah, we hit that order block on the daily. You can see this one order block right here. Hit that order block, bounce from it. I'm just worried about now a corrective move before making new lows. You can see money flow starting to come out again. Red dot on the daily time frame upon rejecting from that 618 Fibonacci extinction. I really would look for a couple new lows and starting a range down around this area. And remember, this is our POC of our last range is right around 79 cents. So is it likely now that we start forming some sort of range in here, making some local lows before potentially making another push, a try back up? The big thing is if we were looking at, so this is obviously impulsive price action to the downside. On the larger time frames, we're looking at this as a potential expanded flat correction, or expanded correction, not flat. This pushed down in an A wave here. Then you get your 3-wave move in a B. And then all of this is the C, right? So ABC, a bigger ABC. Now, in an expanded correction, you can come down to the 1.618 in a C wave. That's your maximum target. And so, yeah, to come down to that 1.618 at 70 cents, taking the liquidity of 74 cents, that's got to hold. If that doesn't hold, then this is more likely to be a 1, 2, 3, and then you'd be looking for a 4 and a 5, probably coming down to take out your liquidity of 46 cents. So we're just going to have to monitor that as time goes on here. Yeah, I mean, 56 to about 65 is some decent support, but you do have that big fair value gap in here you have to watch for. And we don't have any bull divs on the daily time frame. Actually, Nami does. Nami did show some bull divs as we were coming down to that low. Triple drive of it, actually. So we got to diagnose this lower range, because if it's just the 3-wave corrective move, we are going to probably most likely come down and take out those lows and hit, honestly, probably SFP 74 cents. Yeah, and I don't like, see, you can't say with this, you can't say this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or anything like that. You would have to, because there's overlap between this high and this low. So it's really hard to count this as impulsive price action. 1, 2, maybe if you're saying all of this is a 3 and then this is a 4 and that's a 5. But then your 4 is super small in there. And within your 3rd wave impulse, there's overlap. So it is hard to count that impulsive. In that case, we might be still looking for another high to create that overall A or WX and then a Y here, but the Y is going to be an ABC. Actually, it can't be an ABC because if this is not impulsive, just like with Bitcoin, you need impulse, correction, impulse to finish an ABC. So it's a bit difficult, but I would say we're back inside the volume profile. After attempting to break out of the volume profile, we were rejected from our extinction target after taking liquidity. So for me, it's likely that we are going to at least see a deeper retracement here before, if we're going to make another push up. Yeah, and your golden pocket is just below. It has not been hit yet. I would actually be looking more at that 786 value area low. And let's see if we have any naked daily points of control in there. No naked dailies in there. And we did reject from a naked weekly point of control, or that's old actually. Let's see. I need to get rid of that. Man, yeah. I would want a little bit lower here. This is kind of your support zone. Just heard a ton about it for Min overall. Yes, okay, cool. I'm so far behind in the chat. Let me just scroll to the bottom. Guys, if I missed a chat, I'm scrolling to the bottom of the chat. And I do gotta leave in about 10 minutes here. Yes. Okay, cool. Sorry, Mind Tapestry. All right. Could you take a look at Sol? Yes, we will look at Solana. Now, once again, guys, Solana, what did it do? It came right up to the 618 Fibonacci extinction, rejected absolutely perfectly from that 618 Fibonacci extinction, took the liquidity of the highs of the range. The only thing I see that is somewhat bullish on this is we were in our channel, broke it down, backtest, rejected. We were able to get back above it, and now it's kind of holding a support. This channel's no longer actually that important anymore. But what I don't like here is very clear three-wave move, rejected after taking the range liquidity from our 618, and now are we about to see, now this could be a flat in here for, like this could be a push down in a wave one, then we could see a flat to come up to 88 before seeing that's your wave two, and then you could see a wave three, then a 4, and then a 5 to take out your lows. This is an old naked monthly. We hit it 2 weeks ago, but I left it on the chart because it's still a monthly point of control. So locally, you'd just be kind of looking at this range again, right? You're looking at this range. After taking the liquidity of the highs of the range and rejecting the 618, you're back inside the range. But unlike SUI, you've actually lost the POC. You've back tested the POC and rejected. So I would at least expect to take out yesterday's lows on Solana. It's highly likely that we're going to take out yesterday's lows because we did reject on the bearish backtest of this point of control. And that means that we are likely to come down to the value area low at 80.6. Now, if we pull our Fibonacci from last week's lows to the highs, yeah, I guess you did front run your golden pocket, so you could see what would be nice here is if we did continue down this a little bit to SFP Monday's lows, and then to come up to SFP the highs of Monday, seeing a flat correction in here, actual flat, not a running flat, and then see that dump in a 3. I do like the way money flow looks here, coming up on both Market Cipher B and NAMI. Gosh, the thing is just even Bitcoin, this move up just does not look very strong so far. I just don't like that we're also seeing that from these highs. You're seeing some possible bearish absorption on the charts. Let's go to that shit quick. Give me just a second here, guys. I am going to make sure my stop loss is proper here. Okay. Let's hide these. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to go quiet on you. Yeah, this is not looking too good right now. Let's see if we can't get. It could still be the 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2, and then you got to get that third wave, but we do not want to really break the golden pocket. So if we continue chopping until we get to the bottom of the channel, like if this is a slow drop that lasts about an hour or 2 hours, that 67,350-ish level could give us a decent bounce where you could catch a wave 3, right? 1 2 1 2, and then the big 3 you would want to come in pretty quickly here. And in this 3, I would at least want to take out these highs. You're coming up, take out those highs in a 3, maybe come to the bottom of the pitchfork band, and then you can see a 4 before taking out your 71K highs in a 5. I'm pretty good about seeing scams. Looks legit. Okay, wait. What did you ask? Did anyone else receive an email from Coinbase about receiving a credit from a settlement on Coinbase? I don't think so. Yes. Let me, David Hornback. Let me check that for you real quick. So the one. All right. There you go. That should be, nope. Hold on. That's the wrong one. There we go. Okay, we did Solana. ETH, yes, let's check ETH real quick. And then, guys, I'm going to get going after ETH. So if you don't want to stick around for ETH, thank you so much for joining. So ETH, we did reject, by the way, perfectly from our value. We laid this box out on Friday, if you guys remember. On Friday's live stream, we laid this box out. Value area high, daily level, pitchfork, and we also had a naked daily point of control that was just above that. This should be a little bit tighter. Oops. So that was our box, naked daily point of control, but we rejected from the daily and the pitchfork band, pretty much the top of the pitchfork band. The dump though, still could be, this actually does look little bit three-wave corrective in here. And so because of that, we might continue pushing up again to double top this thing. I'm still expecting Ethereum to come take out those range highs as well, around that area. But more locally, I'm looking at a WXY correction to come down and take out the lows into our naked daily point of control around 1916. So I'd be watching for a rejection around 2040, 35, 2040. If we do reject from that, I would expect us to come down and take out your Sunday lows, those Sunday lows into your naked daily point of control. Yeah, and the one thing here with Ethereum is it could be forming that triangle as well. I don't really like it too much, but it could be forming a triangle in here. So in that scenario, you do have to watch for coming up there, rejecting, and then really breaking this thing down. Because in a wave 4, triangles are common. So if we reject here and we start to really not see a fake out of the triangle and bounce, you're probably going to flush pretty quickly down. Naked monthlies, naked weeklies. Okay, that monthly's actually been tapped, but I left it on the chart. Yeah, and so as far as our pitchfork goes, let me turn off these levels. As far as our pitchfork goes, we rejected from the top of the pitchfork, created that distribution range, lost our upper band. You can see the upper band was holding a support, lost it, flipped it to resistance, came down to the midline, held the midline for a few times, lost the midline, and now we're chopping, forming those ranges that I often talk about within and around the bands. So we're just forming a range in and around this band. I would be really careful, though, even if we take out the range highs one more time, of seeing a drop to the bottom of the pitchfork. Actually, that's kind of what I'm expecting. And if we do get down to this level, this is like a super good level for me. That 4-year-long range point of control. 4 years long at like 1569, 1570. We also have a weekly level down there at 1587. I mean, there's this support here around 1600 to 1560, let's say. Super good support level where I'll be looking for huge swing long opportunities. But within our smaller range, you're just going to be trading this range until it breaks, right? So you're going to look for confluence, naked daily points of controls in there, Fibonacci retracements, daily levels. Yeah, and there's not much. The only daily levels down around 1821. You are overall holding the value area low, but look at how we're creating these higher lows in here. Higher low, higher low, higher low, just barely. You're leaving a liquidity trail. And to me, this entire move right here looks corrective. It does not look like a bunch of 1-2s, like a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. You know, it's way too flat here. To me, this looks like a pretty aggressive dump. You're going to kind of chop sideways and up a little bit before another dump. So that's what I'm looking for as far as Ethereum goes. I think that we might, it's likely that we're probably going to come take out the local highs from yesterday. But after that, like around your golden pocket and your POC, you're probably going to see a rejection here and continue to take out this liquidity trail that's been building. Okay, guys, I do got to go. Let's see. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys. I will be live Thursday and Friday again, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please hit the like button for me if you guys learned anything in the chat, in the stream today, or just liked it, enjoyed the stream. I'll be making a video tomorrow, and I'll keep you guys updated in the Telegram. If I take any trades, or I'll keep you updated on Bitcoin. Also, tag me in the general chat. If you ask me a question in the general chat, though, please tag me so I see it, because sometimes I don't see it unless you tag me. But I'll be around in the Telegram, and I will see you guys tomorrow on video and Thursday